A seemingly harmless day spent building sandcastles on the shore of Seven Seas Lagoon turned into a horrifying ordeal when a massive alligator attacked their 2-year-old son Lane, snatching him by the head and dragging him into the murky depths. How could something so terrible happen at the happiest place on Earth? The Graves family had been eagerly anticipating their dream vacation to Disney World Orlando for months. Finally, in June 2016, their excitement reached its peak as they embarked on their journey to the world-renowned resort. With its sprawling 25,000 acres of land, Disney World boasts a plethora of theme parks, studios, and the animal kingdom, attracting nearly 60 million visitors annually. The family indulged in the world-class rides and attractions that Disney World had to offer, and one serene evening they decided to take a break from the hustle and bustle of the theme parks and venture out to the tranquil Seven Seas Lagoon. This man-made lagoon was known for its serene boating and fishing experiences, offering a peaceful oasis amid the excitement. The water was placid, creating a mirror-like reflection of the sky above. But little did they know that their peaceful evening would turn into a horrific nightmare that would shake them to their very core. For the Graves family, it was the third day of their incredible vacation at the Grand Floridian Hotel, situated right on the shores of the lagoon. Despite the late hour, around 8:30 p.m., Matt and Melissa decided to make the most of their holiday and stay up for the outdoor movie experience on the beach. It was a unique opportunity that they never experienced before. While the couple enjoyed the movie, their young children were more interested in playing on the sandy beach, building sandcastles and splashing in the gentle waves. Little did they know that this peaceful scene would soon turn into a nightmare beyond their imagination. As they basked in the warmth of the evening, a lurking danger was slowly approaching, waiting to strike when they least expected it. Matt and Melissa had thoughtfully placed a bucket and spade, ready for their children to enjoy the sandy beaches of Seven Seas Lagoon. As soon as they arrived, 2-year-old Lane eagerly grabbed the bucket from his older sister and toddled onto the sand, brimming with excitement. His parents watched fondly as Lane filled up the bucket with sand, and they helped him turn it over, tap it 3 times, and lift it to reveal a perfectly shaped sandcastle. Lane's squeals of delight echoed across the beach as they continued this activity, creating one sandcastle after another. As the sun began to set and the time for them to leave drew near, Lane protested loudly, refusing to leave the beach. Matt and Melissa exchanged a glance and gave in to their toddler's pleas, deciding to stay a little longer. It seemed harmless enough after all. Lane's excitement continued to grow as he helped dig a trench around their sandcastle fortress. With the bucket in hand, he ran towards the ankle-deep waters of the lagoon, splashing around in the shallows. Matt and Melissa watched on, amused by their son's playful antics. But little did they know that a terrifying predator was lurking just beneath the surface, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Without warning, the Graves family's world was turned upside down. Their carefree afternoon turned into a nightmare when a massive alligator attacked their 2-year-old son Lane, just feet away from them. In a desperate attempt to save their child, Matt leaped into action, wrestling with the ferocious predator as it had its jaws clamped around Lane's head. Despite his heroic efforts, the alligator proved too strong, and Lane was dragged underwater, leaving the family in shock and disbelief. As they tried to comprehend the horror unfolding before them, the water around them turned murky and brown, adding to the sense of helplessness and despair. What could have possibly caused this tragic and terrifying turn of events? And how would the Graves family ever recover from such a devastating loss? Matt frantically continued to search the murky water, but all he could feel was the slimy mud. Meanwhile, Melissa was running along the shoreline screaming in panic. Their 2-year-old son Lane was an easy target for the alligator, small and defenseless. Alligators are apex predators and typically hunt fish, turtles, muskrats, birds, and deer. While they are less aggressive than crocodiles, their ambush tactics and powerful bite force make them dangerous to humans. Onlookers watched in horror, hoping that Lane would somehow resurface, but their hopes were quickly fading. The pressure from an alligator's bite is equivalent to the weight of a small pickup truck. Emergency services quickly arrived at the scene and launched a boat to scour the lake. The minutes dragged on, and the family's worst fears were confirmed when Lane's lifeless body was finally found. It was a tragic end to what had been a joyous family vacation. A massive search operation involving over 50 officers was initiated, and devastatingly, Orange County divers discovered Lane's body the following afternoon. 17 hours after the attack, he was found lying lifeless in just 6 feet of water, only yards from where he had been taken. Heartbreakingly, he was just feet from where Matt and Melissa had frantically searched for him. However, the murky water churned up by the commotion made it impossible to see below the surface. Lane's body was pulled from the water, carried back to the beach, and into the arms of his devastated mother. Rescuers pronounced him dead at the scene despite only a couple of puncture wounds from the alligator's grab. Wildlife officers concluded that although Lane had suffered trauma to his head and neck, he had drowned when the alligator had dragged him into the water. His body had been untouched after the attack. Likely, Matt's attempts to free his son from the alligator's grip startled the predator, causing it to let go after dragging the boy underwater. Lake Kissimmee, near Orlando, is home to the second biggest population of alligators in Florida. It is home to almost 2,000 alligators, making it one of the areas with the second biggest populations of alligators in Florida. Due to their large numbers, some individuals have to look for food and territory elsewhere to avoid competition, sometimes making their way into recreational lakes, frequented by locals and tourists alike. In the aftermath of Lane's devastating attack, officers captured and euthanized 6 alligators from the lagoon. Upon examination, the alligators' stomachs were empty, indicating hunger as a possible motive behind the attack. Lane's presence had not provoked the alligator in any way. He was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Following the tragic incident, Disney World has erected warning signs around the lagoon to alert tourists of the presence of alligators. Although alligator attacks in Florida are rare, they can have devastating consequences. Lane was simply enjoying his vacation with the people who loved him most in the world, when the alligator took advantage of an opportunity, resulting in his terrifying final moments.